Hi, welcome to this segment 2. Welcome to this segment 2 in our continuing documentation about how to use a console game controller like this one with Linux Air Combat. This, as I said, is going to require some experimentation because different vendors design these game controllers differently. A vendor, like this is a Logitech one I'm using now, but there are 7 or 8 different popular vendors that make these things, and they all have different numbers of buttons in different positions, and the logic behind the buttons causes them to describe themselves differently to Linux. For example, on this one, this could be button number 1, but on a Sony device, this same button might be advertised as button number 4, or this might be button number 101, 102, 103, 104 with Logitech, but it might be buttons 7, 8, 9, and 10 on somebody else's USB console game controller. So you have to figure out how each one advertises its buttons to Linux in order to map them onto Linux Air Combat. Let's demonstrate that. I've gone back to my console. When I fire up Linux Air Combat and begin flying, I'll show you how this works. I'm going to fly my Battle 3, going into a nice simple climb, give myself some power. I'm going to aim myself in a direction that's harmless so I don't get myself destroyed by flying over enemy territory. And now I'm going to press the button that I want to control firing guns. But I notice it doesn't fire guns. It actually activates war emergency power. But look over in the left-hand side. Can you see inside my command console? It says game joystick button 5 right over here. Every time I press that button, it said game joystick button 5. That tells me that that button is button number 5. And when I refer to it in our configuration files, we have to use a 5. And so I'm going to get a picture. I'm going to get my picture of this game controller, and I was pressing this button right here on the front. On the picture, I would print out a picture of this and I'd write a 5 right by that. Okay. And then continuing, let's take a look at the button I want to use for fire secondary weapon. So I'm going to return to flight, and I'm now going to press the button for fire secondary weapon. And I can see that's button number 7. You see the 7 right over here? Every time I press that button, you'll see these 7s appear. Watch me do that again. Returning to flight, pressing that button. See that 7? That's how we learn what each button does. So I would then go back to this picture and indicating the lower button down here, and write out a 7 with an arrow down there. Now, this button is the button I want to use for raising my flaps. So let's return to flight. I'm going to press that button, and you can see it's joystick button 3. Every time I press it, I see a 3 down there. So I would then return to this picture, and I'd write a 3 right on there. The flaps down button is this one right here. You can just barely see the corner of this little flaps button down right here. Let's fly the simulator and see what that is. So I'm returning to flight. I'm going to press that button. First I've got to even out my flight. I'm pressing that button, and that looks like it's button which? Button 1. I can see right there. See that joystick button 1? Every time I press that button, I got a 1 indication. There are other things that happen here, but you can kind of look for it and see that's joystick button number 1. So I would label this button right here, the one you can just barely see the edge of it, with a 1. This button here, I think I want that to be target next. I'll use that for target, select next target. So I'm going to return to flight and press that button, and that looks like it's joystick button 9. See the 9 over there in the lower left corner? So I would go back to this picture on my printout, and right here I'd write a 9 on the printout there. This one, let's see what that one is, by going back to the simulator, returning to flight, and then now pressing that button that you saw me that I wanted to do, even out my flight. Pressing that button, that's an 8. See the joystick button 8 there? Every time I press it, you see joystick button 8. So then I would go back to this picture, and right here on the picture, I would I would write 8. Same for all these buttons. When I press them, I get a number. Let me just show you. This is probably going to be 3-digit numbers, probably, like just the way Logitech does things. So if I return to flight, and I'm going to press the one I want to use for look left. This is the button I want for look left. Looks like it's 102, and for look right, it's 100. So that means that on my diagram, I'd put a 102 right here and a 100 right here on my printout. Let's try this one. This is for look forward and this is for look back. Look forward and look back. So I'm going to try those. Returning to flight. I'm pressing the look forward button. That's 101. And to look back, it generates 103. So those numbers are here, 101 and 103. So if I look at this picture again, I would write a 101 right here and a 103 right there. The same thing can be done for all of the other buttons. And when you're finished, you'll get a diagram, and you should print it out. Let me just get out of this now. When you got your diagram all done, it should probably look something like this. You're going to have numbers right next to each of the buttons. And by referring to those numbers, you will then be ready to edit the LAC controls.txt configuration file. We're going to do that right now. That's going to be right here. I'm going to set this file browser up here. I'm going to make this picture a little smaller so we can have the two of them side by side. And I'm going to edit my LAC controls.txt file with a right click, open with kwrite. You can use any editor you want. But this LAC controls.txt file has a lot of explanatory text in it that you can use to figure out how this works. It has 3 main sections. There's some explanatory text in the beginning, and then there's a section on keyboard, which we don't need to mess with for this. The next section is on mouse configuration, and we don't need to mess with that. The third section is the joystick section, and this is the area where we want to do our work. And so we've already done our axes, so we don't have to do anything with aileron, elevator, throttle, rudder, view X or view Y. But the first button we want to configure is the fire primary button. Now remember, for firing the primary weapon, I decided I wanted to use this button, and in this chart it says we want to change that to a 5. So I'm going to change this to a 5 right here. For fire secondary, I think that was a 7, according to this. So I'm going to change this fire secondary weapon is going to be a 7. Dropping a flare, I don't care about. Dropping chaff, I don't care about. Weapon select. For select secondary weapon, that's a 2 on this game controller. So secondary weapon is going to be button 2. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not. Fire secondary weapon is A7. I already did that. Select secondary weapon is A2. That's this one. Okay. Zoom. Let's see. Target select. This one is target select. Looked like this is an 8, so I'll put an 8 here. And let's target select cycle. I like that. And let's see. Thrust triple modifier. I know that's going to be a 10. This right here has 3 functions. We're going to set that with a 10. Flaps up, I want that to be my 3 button right here. And flaps down wants to be my 1 button right here. Let's see, speed brake. Oh, that's covered with my triple modifier. Let's see, for my look. My look back is going to be 103. 103, okay. Look forward is going to be 101. Look left looks like it's 102. Look right, looks like it's 100. Look up, looks like it's going to be 4. Look down, looks like it's going to be 6. But actually I want that to be map view. Look down to the map. So where's my map view function? There we are. 6. Okay. See, target select is going to be 8. Select next target. Target cycle A8. Yeah. It's okay. We've got a lot of them mapped here. Let's save our file here and quit. And I'm just going to fire up the simulator again and see if it's any better. If I fly this mission now, got full throttle, and I'm going to head off a little bit farther to the north here, and now I'm going to try to look left. Aha, good. Look forward? Yes. Look right? Yes. Look back? Yes. Looking forward again? Look up? Yes. Look forward again? Look down to the map? Yes. All my view keys are now mapped properly. Let's see about select next target. Select next target. Select next. Select next. Select next. Okay. Looks like my select next is working, but it looks like it's also giving me rudder trim. I didn't want that, so we're going to have to go back and take a look and see what rudder trim is. I'm going to look once again at leccontrols.txt file. Oh, and I want to use the click open with K right. We're scrolling down into the joystick section again, mouse section, joystick section. And I had target select was correct, target cycles A8, but there must be something else using A8. There it is, trim rudder left. I don't want that to be, I don't want any rudder trim on here, so I'm going to change all those to 999. That just, I use 999 to mean I don't want any use of that function. So I'm going to take all my trim functions and change them all to 999. Okay, I think you get the idea here by editing all these function names and assigning them to the numbers that we saw when we ran the buttons. We can match everything up and get the configuration that we want. So that is how we do that. Let me just point out that this information can also be found in our frequently asked questions and in our forums, and a lot of very helpful people in our forums publish their configuration files that they make for public use. So if you go to our forums here, and there's a forum on flight control hardware, joysticks, etc. You click in there, there's oftentimes a lot of people publish their pictures of popular controllers. This forum is really good because it shows pictures of various types of controllers, and you can click on links to get pre-configured configuration files that other people have made that might work for you if you happen to have the same kind of controller that they have. If you make a configuration file that you think will be of general use to people in our community, please publish it there so everybody can benefit. If you apply these principles, no matter what kind of controller you have, you can match it and make it work really nicely with Linux Air Combat, and there's a lot of power for that. Thank you. That is all.